Come look with open eyes. Do we know what we've become? Look at where we started from.
What's up, guys? This is Donnie, aka Elevated with Dota Alchemy, coming at you with another video today. And this one is going to be called Why You Need to Always Be on Offense in Dota 2 and why being on offense will make you a better player in the long run. So the reason that I want to make this video is because I see a lot of players out there playing not to lose the game. I understand where this mindset comes from. Nobody likes to lose games of Dota, and we all want to avoid that at all costs. And so the natural tendency for people is to play not to lose. And what I mean by that is if you get behind in a game, you'll kind of play back, you'll play defensively, you will try to lose less ground, try to die less if you're behind. And I mean, in theory, these things are good, right? Because obviously you don't want to get steamrolled. You don't want people to just run over you. Because that feels even worse than just losing the game normally. It feels worse to just get crushed. Because when you get crushed, it really feels like you don't know anything. Like you're not good enough to play in these games. But that's not the case. It could be many, many factors. It could be the draft. It could be you just made more mistakes. The point is, when you get behind, it's actually more important to play aggressively than it is when you are ahead. When you're ahead, you still want to be aggressive, but you want to be controlled aggressive. When you're behind, you need to make bigger plays because you need to make up for the fact that you are lower in net worth. This is a concept that takes a little bit of getting used to because naturally, when you're behind, when you are low net worth, you feel like you need to position yourself more carefully. And you do, but it doesn't mean that you can't make plays. It doesn't mean that you can't abuse the enemy's mistakes. And this is something that I see a lot at most MMRs, to be honest, is that when you get behind, people tend to stop looking for those opportunities to get back into the game. They look for opportunities for the opponent to overextend or, dive too far going high ground, and they kind of just concede everything else. They concede the rest of the map if they're behind. And suddenly you decide that, okay, the only thing that I can do now is just to defend high ground and hope that these guys make a mistake. Hope that this carry, who's super farmed, dives way, way too far, way in front of his team, and then feeds us a kill. And then maybe if he does that 2 or 3 times, then we can get back into the game. Those opportunities are not going to happen as often as you would like them to. And the converse side of that is that you can make these opportunities happen by manipulating how the other team plays the game. If you are doing things like split pushing, if you're still trying to get aggressive wards down as a support, you give your team the opportunity to make aggressive plays that you wouldn't otherwise have. If you are behind, you still need vision, and you still need aggressive vision, because if you don't have aggressive vision, then it's much harder to split push the lanes. If you don't have vision of their shrines, if you don't have vision of their tier 2s or their high ground, it's way harder for somebody to safely split push. And when you're behind, split pushing is one of the best ways to get back into the game. Because when you split push, you make the other team separate their strength. And that's the biggest component, right? If they are ahead of you, it's because all 5 of them combined are stronger than your 5. And if you can make that 5 theirs that's very strong split up to where there's only 2 or 3 of them, then your 5 oftentimes will have a higher net worth and a higher impact and more control and more damage than those 3 heroes. And to do that, you need to play aggressively. You need to actually make them react to you. If you're just playing defensively, if you are just reacting to what they're doing, you will never, ever find the advantages outside of the other team making mistakes. And this goes for as you get higher and higher in MMR, the less mistakes are going to be made by the other team. They will still make mistakes, but it will happen less and less frequently. Players will dive your fountain less and less frequently. And therefore, you need to become more and more aggressive the higher in your MMR you get. And it's not just blind aggression. It's not just running at people and taking your hands off the keyboard. It's not just A-clicking down a lane. It is looking actively at the minimap, seeing where the enemy is at all times if you can, noticing when there is one hero that seems to be too far away from his team, and jumping on that opportunity to destroy them. And bring yourself back into the game by picking apart the mistakes that they will be making because they are overconfident in their massive amount of map control. So how do you learn to be aggressive? This is one of the things that I believe everybody in Dota needs to implement in their game. All of us have experienced hard games, and all of us know what it feels like to be in a losing game. And very often, we feel like we want to just give up and go to the next game. Being in a losing game, it doesn't feel good. It's stressful. It's really, really stressful. So we want to avoid that stress, and oftentimes we just want to get out. GG, go end, run down mid, I will feed couriers, etc. People do this all the time because they're uncomfortable in the situation of a difficult game. And here is what you have to do instead. You need to be as annoying as possible. Just be annoying. Do whatever you can to annoy the enemy team. Split push them, split push them, split push them. If they come and kill you, they bring 2 or 3 heroes and you're like, haha, I'm just a support. There's 3 or 4 heroes coming to kill me. That is good. Use all of your spells. Stay alive for as long as you can. Try and kill one of them. Try and make it an even trade, 1 for 1. Try and, just delay them. Grab the creeps. Run towards their base. Do anything you can do to annoy the other team, because this will allow you to develop this resiliency, and it will allow you to develop skills like styling on people, juking in the trees, using your spells in the best possible stun stack in conjunction to where you can waste the most amount of time. That is your goal. You want to waste as much of the enemy's time as possible. And it feels good too, because they've been crushing you. They were probably feeling good, and it is their good feeling to your detriment. They're making you feel bad in order for them to feel good. So now it's your time to pay them back, and you need to make them have the hardest time possible ending the game. It doesn't matter if you're down 2 racks. It doesn't mean anything if you're down mega creeps. Make this other team suffer to win the game. The more you can delay the game when the odds are stacked against you to the maximum, the more skilled you're going to feel. You're going to be like, wow, I'm down 30,000 net worth, and these guys cannot end this game. How good am I? I'm way better than them. I'm spotting them 30,000 net worth, and they still cannot win this game. Hold on to that feeling. Hold on to that feeling, and I guarantee you that you will start exploring the limits of your hero, the limits of your own mechanics and your strategy, and the way that you think about the game, and the way you dissect the map and dissect the enemy team's movements, and you will become an incredible Dota player because you constantly are looking for the offensive opportunity that you would otherwise have neglected if you were to just say give up and go to the next game. And the reason that I'm so passionate about this subject is because there's no reason not to do it. You're all playing this game, you're watching this video because you want to get better at this game. And so I'm telling you, if you have the attitude where a game is too hard to win, you will not get better. When I say that every single game ever is winnable, that might not be 100% true, but that needs to be your attitude, because otherwise you're just missing out on all of the excitement that makes Dota the game that it is. Without comebacks, we wouldn't watch the International. We wouldn't watch all of these tournaments. We wouldn't appreciate how good the professional teams are. The comebacks, the playing from behind, the outplays, the outmaneuvers, the out-strategizing is why we play Dota 2. It's why we support the game. It's why Dota is the best esport that has ever existed. If teams gave up when they were behind, we wouldn't have the fountain hook. We wouldn't have EG coming back against eHome with 5 Dagons. The best games any of us have ever seen or played of Dota have been those grind out, come from behind victories. That's all there is to it. If you want the most out of this game, you need to try as hard as you can, even when all the odds are stacked against you. As always, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we will see you next time.